Assalamu alaikum. This is Rokia Samia to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman urges to embrace humanistic ideals of national poet Kazi Nazrul Islam. Exam centers brought under CCTV surveillance as HSC and equivalent exams begin. China continues to support Bangladesh in Tista project, says Chinese ambassador. State Minister for Land urges students to focus on studies alongside staying away from drugs to build healthy life. Appointing headmasters in government primary schools unhurdled as Supreme Court ends legal dispute over seniority and promotion of teachers. Positive progress made in talks between US and Iran in Qatari capital Doha. Viewers, those were the top stories. Now moving on to the details. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman has urged people to embrace the humanistic ideals of national poet Kazi Nazrul Islam, saying the government is committed to building an inclusive society where people of all faiths can live safely and peacefully, and animals are protected from cruelty. The Prime Minister made the remarks while inaugurating the year-long Nazrul Year 2026-27 celebrations from the Cabinet Division Conference Room at the Bangladesh Secretariat today. The program was simultaneously launched in all 64 districts and 74 selected upazilas through a virtual platform. On the occasion, the Prime Minister unveiled 6 commemorative postage stamps and the official logo marking Nazrul Year 2026-27. The Prime Minister said Nazrul's writings inspired the nation during the Liberation War and continue to serve as a powerful source of resistance and protest in different democratic movements. Tariq Rahman said Nazrul is not only a part of our history as he remains relevant to today's generation and will continue to inspire future generations. He stressed the need to spread the poet's life, philosophy, and literary legacy from one generation to the next.
বিরহের কবি, তারুণ্যের কবি, বাংলাদেশের ঐতিহ্যের কবি কাজী নজরুল ইসলাম আমাদের জাতীয় সাহিত্য সংস্কৃতির ইতিহাসের এক অবিস্মরণীয় নাম। পরাধীন, পর্যদুস্ত, পরাভূত জাতির ভাগ্যাকাশে তার আবির্ভাব ছিল আলোক বর্তিকার মতন। কবি নজরুলের সৃষ্টিশীলতার মধ্যে আতিথ্য রয়েছে সকল কালের, সকল মানুষের। অন্যায় অবিচারের বিরুদ্ধে রুখে দাঁড়াতে তিনি আমাদের অনুপ্রেরণা। তার প্রাসঙ্গিকতা এবং প্রয়োজন কখনোই ফুরোয় না। আমাদের মহান মুক্তিযুদ্ধে তার কবিতা ও গান ছিল অনুপ্রেরণার প্রবল উৎস। তেমনি আমাদের সকল আন্দোলন সংগ্রামে তার সৃষ্টিশীলতাই হয়ে ওঠে প্রতিবাদ প্রতিরোধের মূল ভাষা। বর্তমান সরকারও এমন এক রাষ্ট্র এবং সমাজ বিনির্মাণের লক্ষ্যে কাজ করছে, যেখানে ধর্ম বর্ণ নির্বিশেষে প্রতিটি মানুষ নির্বিঘ্নে নিরাপদে বসবাস করবে। শুধু মানুষের এই নিরাপত্তা নয়, আসুন কোনো প্রাণীও মানুষের হিংস্রতার শিকার যেন না হয়, বর্তমান সরকার সেটিও নিশ্চিত করতে চায় এবং আপনাদের সকলের সহযোগিতায় সরকারের পক্ষে সম্ভব সেটিকে নিশ্চিত করা।
Cultural Affairs Minister Nita Rai Chaudhary chaired the event, while State Minister Ali Nevaz Mahmood Khayyam, Prime Minister's Advisor of Information and Broadcasting and Cultural Affairs, Dr. Zahidur Rahman, Cabinet Secretary Nasimul Ghani, and Cultural Affairs Secretary Kaniz Maula spoke the function, among others. Nojul researchers, cultural personalities, and senior government officials attended the program, while divisional commissioners, deputy commissioners, and Upajala Nirvahi officers joined the event virtually from across the country. This year's HSC and equivalent examinations began simultaneously across the country today. The examinations commenced at 10 a.m. with the Bangla first paper and continued until 1 p.m. A total of 12,70,583 candidates from 9,439 educational institutions are taking part in the examinations at 2,697 centers nationwide. This year, all examination centers have been brought under CCTV surveillance. The Ministry of Education said that this year the examinations are being conducted with a same question paper across the country's 9 general education boards. Previously, each general education board conducted the HSC examinations using its own separate question paper. According to the Ministry of Education, female candidates once again outnumber male candidates this year. Of the total examinees, 6,21,969 are male and 6,48,614 are female. To ensure that the examinations are conducted in a fair, orderly and shooting-free environment, CCTV cameras have been installed at all examination centers across the country. The Ministry of Education has also established a central CCTV camera monitoring cell. From this monitoring cell, examination activities at any center across the country are being observed live. The HSC and equivalent exams have begun in Chattogram as elsewhere in the country. 72,523 candidates were scheduled to appear in the examination at 114 centers in 5 districts under Chattogram Education Board. Out of them, 71,183 candidates took part, while 1,340 were absent. Exam of Bangla first paper was held on the first day. Strict security measures and steps for overall monitoring were taken to ensure a fair environment for the exam. Center officials said the first day of the exam was completed following the rules. Chinese ambassador to Bangladesh Yao Wen said Prime Minister Tariq Rahman's first official visit to China was a complete success. He made the remarks this morning while speaking at a press conference at the Chinese embassy in Dhaka. The ambassador reaffirmed China's commitment to the Tista project, saying Beijing's position remains unchanged and it will continue to support Bangladesh within its capacity. He also said Bangladesh and China will work on new options to strengthen regional connectivity, including direct China-Bangladesh links and the development of the China-Myanmar-Bangladesh economic corridor. The ambassador added that China-Bangladesh relations are now at their highest level in history. He expressed hope that two countries would further deepen cooperation by implementing the consensus reached by their leaders. The Chattogram University of Engineering and Technology, CHUET, welcomed the new students of the 2025-26 academic year. Their formal teaching in the classrooms will begin on next Sunday. An orientation program was organized in the university auditorium today to welcome 931 students who got admission in various departments in the new academic year. State Minister for Land and Chittagong Hill Tracts Affairs, Barrister Mir Muhammad Helaluddin, was the chief guest in the event. Director of the Department of Student Welfare of CHUET, Professor Dr. Muhammad Saiful Islam, presided over, while the university's Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dr. Mahmoud Abdul Matin Bhuiya, Registrar Dr. Sheikh Muhammad Humayun Kabir, and the deans of various departments, among others, addressed the occasion. The state minister urged the students to stay away from drugs in order to focus on their studies and build a healthy and beautiful life. Later, State Minister for Land and Chittagong Hill-Tract Affairs Barrister Mir Mohammad Hilaluddin laid the foundation stone of the Hathazari Fatehabad Ramdashat Mudanaghat Road renovation work in Hathazari Upazila. The local government engineering department is implementing the road renovation work under the important Upazila and Union Road widening and strengthening project of Chattogram division. At the inauguration ceremony, the state minister said that more than 400 development projects have been implemented in the last 125 days. For the development of Hathazari, about 50 more projects are waiting to be implemented. Later, the state minister attended the teacher training workshop and seminar organized by the Nurani Talimul Quran Board Chattogram in Hathazari. The State Minister for Land highlighted the various steps taken by the government to improve the quality of education. Ziaur Rahman Foundation organized a month-long tree plantation program at Chittagong Veterinary and Animal Science University to observe the 45th martyrdom anniversary of former martyr President Ziaur Rahman. Ziaur Rahman Foundation Director and State Minister for Land, Barrister Mir Mohammad Hilaluddin inaugurated the program at the university's research and production-based campus in Hathazari in the afternoon. On this occasion, he planted neem tree saplings on the campus and distributed saplings among the students. Later, a discussion meeting was organized on the occasion of the tree plantation program. CVASU Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Muhammad Lutfur Rahman chaired the event. Among others, Chittagong University Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Muhammad Al Furqan, Director of CVASU External Affairs Professor Saiful, CVASU Professor Dr. Ahsanul Haq, Professor Mizanur Rahman, Treasurer Professor Dr. Nurul Haq, environmental activists, teachers, students and members of the foundation were present. The state minister said Prime Minister Tariq Rahman is not just a politician, he is a compassionate and humanitarian state leader. The Ziaur Rahman Foundation is also working in the service of humanity. The Supreme Court ended the legal dispute over the seniority and promotion of nationalized primary school teachers. The ruling clears the way for appointing head teachers in around 32,000 government primary schools across the country. A 4-member full bench of the Appellate Division, led by Chief Justice Jubair Rahman Chaudhry, delivered the verdict today. The ruling removes the legal obstacle that had stalled the recruitment process for 13 years. Following the verdict, only government-appointed teachers will be eligible to serve as head teachers of government primary schools. Barrister Ramjan Ali Shikdar briefed reporters after the hearing. Primary Teachers Association President Muhammad Abul Qasim and Barrister Habibur Rahman were present at that time. Now, international news. US and Iranian negotiators held separate meetings in Qatar through Qatari and Pakistani mediators, making what Qatar described as positive progress and agreeing to continue discussions. Qatar's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Majed Al-Ansari said on X that the next round of talks would be held at the earliest possible time after the funeral of Iran's former supreme leader, the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The funeral is scheduled to begin Saturday in Tehran. The U.S. delegation included Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of U.S. President Donald Trump. Iran was represented by its chief negotiator Kazem Gharibabadi. The discussions are aimed at working out details that could pave the way for a broader agreement between senior leaders. However, major differences remain, particularly over the Strait of Hormuz and Lebanon. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Qasem Garibabadi said the Iranian delegation held 2 rounds of meetings with Qatari and Pakistani mediators in Doha. In the first meeting, the participants agreed to establish an immediate communication channel within a day and to formally document the MU's shortcomings so the issues could be reviewed and addressed. The second meeting focused on the release of about $6 billion in frozen Iranian funds. Meanwhile, Iran's military headquarters warned that any U.S. interference in the Strait of Hormuz will be met with a decisive and swift response as tensions continue to roil negotiations. On the other hand, Iran has lodged a protest with the UN over Israel's latest threat to assassinate the country's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. In a letter to Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the Security Council and the General Assembly, Iran's ambassador to the UN, Amir Sayed Iravani, described the threat by Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz as part of a deliberate and systematic policy of state terrorism, targeting Iranian government officials. Iravani added that the UN Security Council has allowed Israel to act with impunity and warned that Tehran would respond to any hostile actions. Iran is preparing the largest state funeral in its history for former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in a U.S.-Israeli strike on February 28. The 6-day ceremonies will span 5 cities, including in neighboring Iraq. The ceremony will begin on Saturday next, with Khamenei's body lying in state at Tehran's Grand Mosalla Prayer Complex. The ceremonies will continue through Monday, with a funeral procession through the streets of Tehran on Monday. The procession will move to the holy city of Qom on 7 July and then to the cities of Najaf and Karbala in Iraq. Ayatollah al-Khamenei's body will be returned to Iran for burial in his home city, Mashhad, on 9 July. Mourners from across the country and abroad are expected to attend the ceremonies. Authorities said they expect some 15 to 20 million mourners to participate, and police have declared a state of high alert for the event. Senior officials and representatives from more than 30 countries, including Russia, China, Pakistan, India, Georgia, and Cuba, are expected to attend, while religious leaders from 90 countries will also take part. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf has called for a massive turnout for Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's funeral that starts this weekend. A week after the deadly twin earthquakes in Venezuela, the official death count raised to at least 2,295 people, an increase of around 300 from the previous day's update. According to National Assembly President Jorge Rodriguez, more than 11,000 people were injured. Tens of thousands remain missing, with the United Nations estimating some 50,000 people are unaccounted for and nearly 13,000 have been left homeless. There are still many people unseen beneath the rubble of the collapsed high-rise buildings, and it may take some time for a full picture of the casualties to emerge. Hundreds of rescuers in Venezuela are fighting the clock to search for people dead or alive under the collapsed buildings, as survivors of the disaster struggle with mounting hunger and desperation. Aid workers warn of rising tensions and crime. 4 police officers were arrested after residents accused them of stealing valuables from the rubble, while some families sleep in parking lots after their homes collapsed. The World Food Program has appealed for $50 million to feed 500,000 people for 3 months, as health officials warn of looming disease outbreaks in a country whose battered services are now under extreme pressure.